In 2013, I uploaded a acne makeup video that got like 18 million views. Back then, that was crazy viral. That video ended up in Irish newspapers. I was on TV because of it. It essentially launched my entire career. But for a while, everyone knew me as the acne girl, the Irish acne girl on YouTube. Well, now I'm 35, and I thought maybe we could see together how much my face has changed, how much my approach to makeup has evolved. And before the comments roll in about this, little disclaimer, I have had no Botox, I've had no filler, I've had no facelift, I've had no lasers. This is just my face, aging naturally with a bit of help from lotions and potions. And I have a lot of thoughts about it. At 23, you can see that my face was rounder, my skin was smoother. And while my skin is clearer now, I see volume loss, more skin texture, lip texture, fine lines around my eyes and lips. My expression lines are more pronounced. And I do think that's beautiful, you know, it's a sign that I have lived life and I have felt emotions. I am surprised at how much my face has retained its structure, even though I have lost and gained weight a few times, you know, between making babies and all the rest. And before we go comparing how I did my makeup then versus how I do it now, there is something quite bittersweet about this. I spent years fighting my acne, and I'm not talking about all the things I tried to get rid of it and stuff, but just fighting my feelings about it. I thought about it all day, every day, and I was just waiting for the day that I would feel good in my skin, when it'd be all gone. And that day came, and for a little while in my late 20s, I loved my face. I felt really great in my skin. But just when I got there, aging started. And no one prepares you for that. It is the most natural thing in the world. You know, the fine lines and losing the baby face roundness, the extra collagen. That doesn't mean that it's not really hard to process the fact that you've kind of spent years hating your own face, and then when you start to like it, the next big change starts to happen. I was so focused on getting rid of acne that I didn't realise that by the time it would be gone, there'd be something new to deal with. And that is why playing the I'll be happy when game is so dangerous, not just in this area, but in all aspects of life. Anyway, I have already done my skincare, and I'm so shocked that 2013 me was using Lush skincare products. I'm not saying anything bad about Lush's skincare products, but I don't go near Lush anymore. I'm a little bit traumatized because I realized many moons ago that their bath bombs were contributing to some issues downstairs. And I think I'll leave it at that. But she wasn't using an SPF. Excuse me? Who does she think she is? Interestingly, nowadays my morning skincare routine is kind of as simple as it was back then. However, before I had kids, there were times where I had like 10-step skincare routines, and you know, there was many more products on rotation. Now I keep it really simple. I do a cleanse, sometimes with water, sometimes an oil cleanse. I do a serum, so sometimes it's a vitamin C, sometimes I'll do a spritz of water and a hydrating serum. I've recently added peptides into the rotation, and then I'll just do a layer of moisturizer and a layer of SPF. So yeah, I've done the skincare. I've also tried to address my eyebrows. I had them done, was it yesterday? But they still had, like, you know when you get them tinted and the tint lingers in patches? I was just trying with a pencil to make them look, they look very 2013, blocky, strong, okay? It's in theme with the video. I've also just curled my lashes, and yeah, we are barefaced. So Melanie in 2013, her whole thing was coverage. And I remember back then trying to convince myself that what I was actually doing was enhancing my natural features and drawing the attention to, you know, my eyes and my lips and away from the acne. But come on, what I was doing was covering it up. And that made me feel more confident. You know, it did. And this video, I believe, went viral because this little Dalmatian technique that I had using Vichy Dermablend, which was this really thick, they probably still sell it. I remember working with them years ago to promote like a newer version of Dermablend, but they used to have this stick and it was really, really thick. So I used to get a little brush and dab it individually onto every single blemish on my face and buff that in as the first layer. Then I would go in with an always slightly orange tinged BB cream or foundation. Back in 2013, there wasn't as much availability of extensive shade ranges. So if you were one end of the spectrum or another, if you had black skin, if you were super, super see-through pale like me, it was really hard to find a good match. There were obviously lots of fair foundations, but they always had like an orangey undertone. So yeah, I'd do then a big layer of that, and then I'd also do concealer, and then I'd also do powder until I looked ill, but not ill girl with acne. So now what we do is a lot more simple. We take a tiny touch of concealer. This is Sculpted by Amy's Complete Cover-Up Concealer, and nowadays, rather than being super concerned with acne, I'm concerned with looking awake because I have little kids who wake me up really early. So I usually do a wee bit of concealer in and around under eye area, sometimes dragging it up here a little bit. I really try to have a light touch with makeup these days. I feel like it just looks so much fresher and more youthful when it's not caked on. Like I could get away with that back then, like the real caked makeup. Nowadays I just can't. I now use, so for my main base product, this is new to me. It is Bella Pierre BB cream in the shade Fair Cool, and I use it with a brush like this. Before I found this, I was using Sculpted by Amy products, which I also love, and you can get really fair shades in, but this is a mineral based product, ideal for aging skin, more mature skin. I hate defining myself as mature, but you know what I mean. You know the way they'd call me a geriatric pregnancy if I got pregnant right now. So I'm gonna do a generous couple of pumps onto my hand. So you can see that, like, you'll see quite quickly, this is a great match for my face. I just pulled the blinds up so you can get a bit more sunlight. I think curtain down is best, but I am more often than not a fingers girly. And what I mean is I often have applied my makeup with my fingers, but this Bella Pierre BB cream goes on much better with a brush, and then it just doesn't settle into your lines in the same way other products do. I'll show you up real close now in a minute. Why haven't we tied the hair back yet? Okay, there we go. Even in my early 20s, I had the sense to tie my hair back. I really worked this product in and it just does its magic. It has a beautiful finish and perfectly matches my skin tone. Perfect goth look. I'm now just going to remove the excess from my lips. But yeah, this is that product up super close. And like, it just doesn't settle in my lines. I have a very expressive face. Like I don't think I could be coping with Botox or just anything that would interrupt how I express. It's so important to me. The sun is having a laugh today, I'm sorry. Carrying on with the 2013 video, because I looked so flat and matte and just dead, I then needed to add dimension back in. Obviously I was a lot younger, so obviously I had rounder features, and I went for a quite sharp contour, that like chiseled, you know, cheekboney look that I kind of have now naturally. Like there, I wouldn't go near my face with contour now. It would age me. It does age me anytime I even dabble. And then I used to go mad with blush, and back then people used to wind me up about it, especially my sister. And nowadays it's all in to be going over the top on the blush. Those were powder products that I was using. I stay away from powders, like if I ever need a bit of powder. Now I use this Huda Beauty cherry blossom cake one, like the tiniest dusting, but on an average day I wouldn't touch it. If anything, I would be spritzing my face with some kind of hydrating mist. I just love the dewiness, the glow. So now I love a hydrating cream blush. These are the Pixi On The Glow Tinted Moisture Sticks. And the placement of my blush as well is different.
Do you want to look rounder, softer, and younger, or do you want a more lifted and angular face? The only difference is blush. It truly matters and changes your whole face.
I did mention this in my February monthly vlog, but I tend to find the apples of my cheeks. And I also actually usually do a little bit across here. And sometimes a bit here, and sometimes a bit up here, because I don't do contour. Now, I know I look like a clown right now, but give me a minute. And focusing it on the apples of my cheeks and smiling while I'm putting it on, and kind of having it a bit more spread out than just like on that kind of cheekbone area. It just feels like this adds roundness to my face, and it gives a bit of a more youthful look for sure. Never too much blush. That's my new motto. I will even put a little bit on my eyes. I like to cut down on products and just like, you know, less is more. Lips are a bit more important now at this age because I don't have filler. I do opt for a lip liner now, so just a tiny bit, so I like to overline them much. This does make quite a dramatic difference, and I'll tend to just slightly overline on that like white line that already exists around your lips. Like I just bring it up there, and then I kind of do a bit of an ombre effect, so I'll like fill them in a little bit just around the edges, and then I use some kind of lip maximizer product. So I know Charlotte Tilbury has one. This is the Pixi one, Petal Ice, and you know the lip plumper things that are like make your lips a little bit tingly, like a gloss, you know. And for average day-to-day makeup, that'd be me done. Looking at my face from age 23 to now at 35, I don't just see makeup differences, structural differences. I see the completely different mindset. I can see in my eyeballs through the screen that at 23, I was just really desperate to fit in, to be liked. I was still very much on a journey of wanting to like my face, like what I could see in the mirror. And while I definitely feel more comfortable in my face now, I don't always love it. I'm a lot more neutral about it. And that took many years. Aging naturally isn't scary and shouldn't be scary. It almost feels quite radical in this industry to age naturally, which is a bit silly, a bit stupid, a bit bizarre, but that's the world that we live in. And what makes it easier is learning to give less of a shit, because beauty standards shift constantly. And at the end of the day, the only person's opinion of you that matters is your own. If I could go back to baby Mel and tell her anything, I would tell her that she is stunning. Like, I had no idea how young I was, how beautiful and youthful and bouncy my face was. Like, I just want to like get my little cheeks. Like I would probably say the same thing to 35-year-old me as 60-year-old me. So like that's not lost on me. But she was so gorgeous, and she was constantly being told that by other people, but not believing it. So then trying to convince herself of it. Yeah, flaws and all, even with all the spots. She looks great. You don't have to be flawless to be beautiful. You don't have to be young to be beautiful. But it's nice to appreciate what you have while you have it, you know? Don't waste years chasing perfection that doesn't exist. Just find a way of being in the world that makes you feel good and do that. I want to hear from you if you saw that original video back then, or if you're seeing it for the first time now. Have your makeup habits changed in that amount of time? How different do you feel that you look? If you enjoyed this little time travel experiment, hit the like button. Also, if you want more videos like this where I talk about aging or skin or beauty, makeup, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and I'll see you again in another video very soon. Day.